that type of environment where it's just full of like gangs and drugs and things like that, to like getting out of that, and now all of us being pretty much like business owners and just trying to like provide for the family and things like that. We're all human beings, so
Yeah, we're all human beings at the end of the day. We all go from point A to point B. Today I'm sitting with Bryan here at Juice Ritual. Bryan, can you introduce yourself and give them a little overview of what type of business you're running?
yeah, man, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, guys. So Juice Ritual is pretty much a raw juicery. We specialize in creating juices from scratch, so everything that we use is organic, raw. We also have smoothies. We provide healthy meal preps. So anything that's in the health and wellness space pretty much is your place to go.
Out of all the different business niches that you could have picked, what intrigued you about this space?
It just kind of like went with my lifestyle, man. Like, I grew up playing soccer. I played professional soccer. I've always been around, active. And so when I got the chance to essentially open up this business, it was like a no-brainer. Like, that's definitely where my life is headed. And, there's not really too many healthy spaces in Albuquerque just yet.
Yes,
So I wanted to be one of the first ones to bring that here and, just watch it grow.
Yes, sir. I think that's a great thing to do. I love the vibe here as well. A lot of people, when it comes to the health and wellness space, they go to like e-commerce sites, they go online, and brick and mortar is a harder thing to approach. What made you approach the brick and mortar route?
I think it's just the personal connection. So like doing this, right? Like you can't really find that doing e-commerce or, it's just, to me, I also, as much as I like to sell products, as much as I like to be, making this stuff, I also enjoy having conversations with people. So a brick and mortar allows you to create connections, truly see how you're impacting people's lives, on a day-to-day. I have customers that come in 3 or 4 times a week and they're like, dude, why I feel really good about myself is because of your products, right? So it's like, you don't really get that anywhere else other than just having a space to where you can allow people to come in and you're interacting with these type of people,
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. Albuquerque, is this a place that welcomes this type of space, or is it sort of harder to sell this type of product here in New Mexico?
It's definitely a lot harder, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you grew up here or not, but growing up here, bro, there was like every single corner. I grew up in the South Valley,
Yeah.
and so in every single corner, there's New Mexican food, there's Mexican food, and it's so yummy and it's so good. But at the same time, like, it's very health concerning in a way.
Yeah.
So I think that Albuquerque, New Mexico specifically, is so used to that it definitely is a lot harder. But I see the change. I see that people are slowly starting to like gravitate towards the health and wellness, right? Like,
Definitely.
with the rise of social media, TikTok, you have all this exposure to all these things and how beneficial they are to your body. Now people don't have to necessarily do research. You log on your phone and you can scroll one time and all of a sudden you come across this, ashwagandha, for example, is one of the things that we carry. It's like, oh my God, this is good for your body. It helps with stress. It helps with your hormones, balancing your hormones. It helps with anxiety, right? So now all of a sudden you're exposed to that. So I think that people are becoming more health conscious. So it's getting easier. But here specifically, it's still in the transition. Like, still a lot of people aren't really, I wouldn't say not health conscious, but aren't necessarily all the way there yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I 100% understand that. It's something that they have to kind of grow on, and as the businesses like you started here start to expand and grow and you start getting more out there, it'll definitely, people start understanding a little more.
Yeah, it's just all about educating people, That's all it is. I like to think of myself as not necessarily just a business owner, but also like a coach, not a fitness coach, but just a personal coach. Because at the end of the day, we're training everybody on what these products do and how beneficial they are to your body.
I think that's exactly like why I came here. One of the things that stood out for me, because I was trying to look for like something healthy to like eat, because I don't eat a lot of fast food. I don't like a lot of fried foods, and I just wanted something that was just felt natural. And I was looking through all these things on the Apple Maps, and I saw Juice Ritual. I tapped on it, and it just really stood out to me. So I think what you're doing with, I guess, your marketing and putting yourself out there is really working, because it attracted me.
I appreciate that.
When it comes to marketing, how do you approach marketing this type of business?
Have to be creative. What I've seen now lately what has really been working is like, especially with TikTok and Instagram, it's like making funny reels.
Yeah.
right? But like also tying the product in together, because sometimes I see videos and people are just like sitting there and they're like, this is so good for your body, and if you don't drink this, you're gonna have, acid reflux, or you're gonna have heart issues, and like that's boring, It's
Yeah,
like nobody wants to sit there and watch a 10-minute long video on that. They want to watch something that's entertaining. So I've really been, my marketing strategy so far, or thus far, has been just pretty much like, how can I create content that's relatable,
Yeah.
that ties in my product to what I'm doing, but also that people are going to sit there and watch longer than 3 seconds or 10 seconds. They can fully engage with the video, so they can see what we're all about. So like, for example, I'll give you a couple of things that I've done in videos that have done really well. What I'll do is I'll start with like, I'll put the ending of my video and I'll put it in the beginning, right? So like I'll copy and paste and put it in the beginning, because normally at the end of the video, like it'll be something funny, something that a lot of people they won't stick to the end to watch.
Yeah.
So I put it in the front so that captures people's attention, right? And then as it captures people's attention, then the next 5 seconds are me talking about like, today I'm making this juice. It has beets, it has carrots. It's really good for your heart health. It helps lower your blood pressure, things like that. And as I'm also talking, I also like list them down on the videos. So then again, people are listening to it, but they're also getting the visual.
Yeah.
So, and then it goes into a couple of, doing funny skits or whatever. But essentially it's just imprinting the brand and what we do into people's brains, and then just multiplying on that, and time consistency. And just, that's how we've gotten really good results.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before you ever started Juice Ritual, were you educated on this type of business, like the health and wellness, or did you start to learn more as you opened this business?
Yeah, that exactly. I didn't know what half of these things were.
Yeah.
As I got the chance to take over the business, I started coaching myself. I'm a true believer that I would never go to a restaurant or to a business where the owner or owners aren't well educated or don't agree with what they're selling.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes people do business just to make money,
Yeah.
but they don't really like have the passion into what they're doing. So for me, it was like, I love to work out, I love to eat healthy, but I don't necessarily know off the top of my head what this and this and this is really good for. So I literally sat down, bro, like for hours and hours at a time, and I was just researching and writing myself notes, and like, okay, if somebody comes in and they ask me, what is maca? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I'm going to tell you exactly what it's good for and how it's going to benefit you and your goals.
Definitely. To be a good business owner, I've always heard that you need to actually know the business you're working in, know the products, know the structures and systems, and like
Right.
all of that. So I think that's awesome that you took time to learn your business, because like you said, some people just go at it for profit. And I mean, we're all trying to get profit at the end of the day,
Of course.
but we want to, the customer is like the biggest, what drives the business.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
What was the moment you realized Juice Ritual needed to exist in Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Again, just traveling, man. I went to Arizona. I've been to California, and dude, these type of places are all over the big cities, and so there's nothing like it here in Albuquerque. Obviously, there's a couple of smoothie and juice shops here in town, but nothing like Juice Ritual. Nothing that specifically is tailored for you to get like a specific benefit on a day-to-day basis. And so, just traveling around, I've seen a lot of places. I've gotten a lot of good ideas from, just traveling to these bigger cities. And so now when I got the chance to take over this business, like, it had already been a company for a couple of years. But one of my old business partners took it over, and then I ended up buying it from him in February. Right. And so now little by little, I tweaked the menu. So I changed the whole menu. I redid the whole inside, and just now using my own personal just ideas, and just to try and to make this place, really stand out and really be different for Albuquerque,
Yeah, definitely. I love it. I love that you're putting on for the city like this.
Yes, sir.
Why Juice specifically? What did it represent to you just beyond another product?
That's a really good question. I think that, again, just me being here from Albuquerque, born and raised, I just see like how this city has been damaged by, either drugs, fast food places, just a lot of things that I don't really agree with that happen in the city. And so I think to me, I take it as a personal thing to want to make this place better. And it's not by me going out and, trying to talk to the governors and to all these people and, hey, please change this or whatever. At the end of the day, like,
Yeah.
all we can do is try to do something from where we're at. And for me, it's like, if I can provide something healthy to anybody that walks in by to my doors, that's already one step closer to, driving this city to where it needs to be.
What does ritual mean to you personally? Like, how would you define that?
A ritual is essentially something that you do on a consistent basis, right? Something that you
Yeah.
can do on a day-to-day or even swear by, right? So for me, juice ritual essentially means you're coming here and you're making this place a habit, right? So for me, every single day I wake up in the morning, I take a ginger shot, right? That's
Okay.
my morning ritual. So I wake up, take a ginger shot the first thing before I do anything else, and that's every single morning. So that right there is my morning ritual. So I want to create a space, again, says it in the name, we usually, or I would say we pretty much specialize in juices. So if these people are coming in, I want to make sure that they're creating a habit of, okay, that this is my morning juice. I'm going to come in at the morning, I'm going to come in the evening time, and I'm going to have another juice, or the afternoon, and just creating the healthy habits. So that's what it means to me.
I feel like fitness and health in general, building it up is a thing of consistency. It's not something you can just take one shot of juice in the morning and
Right.
then the next day, like, you're immediately gonna be like better. Like,
Right.
you're not gonna go to the gym one day and you're gonna immediately be better. It's
Right.
all compounded interest,
Yep.
and I love
Yeah, I
that.
try to tell people that all the time. I have people come in and they're like, oh, like I need some energy, and I'm like, okay, well, we have maca, we have ashwagandha, we have spirulina. These are all natural sources of energy,
Definitely.
anti-inflammatory, right? So, but then they come next time, they're like, man, I didn't really feel that energized. I'm like, well, right, because it's not something it's just going to hit one time. You're not going to take scoop of the ashwagandha or the maca and it's all of a sudden you're going to feel on top of the world. Like you're saying, it's something that if you do it on a consistent basis, you make it a ritual, it's
Yeah.
you're going to be better off taking these type of products than you are going to be drinking a coffee every single day.
Definitely.
Or even energy drinks. Energy drinks are super horrible for your heart, for your health in general. They have so many additives, right?
Yeah.
So that's not going to be a substantial way of keeping energy, because one day you're going to have to stop. You're going to go to the doctor, they're going to tell you, dude, you have an enlarged heart, like you drink 2 Red Bulls a day or whatever energy drink you're drinking. With these type of supplements that are natural, they're superfoods. They come from the earth, so there's nothing, you can never take too much, essentially.
Yeah, no, definitely. A lot of people get caught up in that coffee thing, that coffee morning routine.
Yeah.
But I feel like juices are definitely healthier. For people that are out there drinking coffees and a lot of caffeine, like energy drinks, if they wanted to replace it with a juice, what would be a great juice that could give them that same energy and boost?
So we have, I wouldn't say same, because caffeine from coffee is definitely going to be a lot stronger. A lot of people get like the jitters, or they'll kind of feel like that instant rush of energy.
Yeah.
With the juices, it'll be a little bit more of a subtle impact, and you're not going to crash. So we have one specific juice that's called the Rise and Grind. It's
Okay.
pineapple, it's ginger, and it's alkaline water. So alkaline water, 9.5. We partner up with Hydro Bar that are here in Albuquerque. We use their alkaline water machine. So that one will be perfect if you're a person that wants to get off, caffeine from coffee or from energy drinks. You drink the Rise and Grind. It's high in vitamin C, right? It's going to give you a natural rush of energy from the natural sugar from the pineapple. Ginger is anti-inflammatory, so if you've been resting all night, right, you're sleeping, essentially your body ends up getting a little bit inflamed from not doing much. So the ginger will help relieve that. And then the alkaline water, again, it hydrates your body to a cellular level. So you're pretty much getting the best of all
What's
worlds.
one habit or ritual for you in your personal life that's changed your life?
I would probably, it's going to sound like pretty cliche, but just discipline and consistency, right? I was a person that was very, I've always been hardworking, but I didn't really have a sense of direction, right? It was always like just work, not necessarily knowing where I was headed.
Yeah.
Now I have like a routine, right? So I had to sit down and say, okay, what is a routine that I can use to really shape my life in a way where I can grow mentally, I can grow spiritually, I can grow in business. And so now I have a morning routine. So like I told you, I wake up every single morning, 5 in the morning, drink my ginger shot. I read the Bible, right? So then after I read the Bible, then I get ready for my day. I go to the gym. After the gym, I come straight to work. And while I'm here at work I've already woken up a lot earlier than most people. So I've already won in that sense, right?
Yeah.
I think to myself, I'm like, okay, I already won. I already had my first W of the day. I went to the gym. That's my second W of the day. Coming to work and feeling energized and being awake, that's my third W of the day, right? And it's only 9 or 9:30 in the morning. So that to me has just been the discipline and motivation and just consistency of my day every single morning. Doesn't matter how tired I am, doesn't matter if I got 3 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep, doing the same thing over and over and over generates results for the longevity of the business and for my personal evolution, you know?
Definitely. Do you see expansion as growth, or is staying grounded more important?
Prefer growth, but also like systematic growth, right? It's not just about, for example, in business, opening up 10 locations just because you have all this money. And you're like, oh, I'm going to open up 10 juice rituals because, you know, I have this X amount of money in my bank account and I just want to open locations, but you don't have any sense of purpose or you don't have any direction as to what you're going to do with those 10 stores, right? Yeah. So to me, it's like growth, steady growth, steady growth, steady growth essentially will explode, but I don't want to stay stagnant either. So my personal plan is like every two years, 3 years, if I can open up a juice ritual, that would be my ultimate goal, because that gives me time to build every single store up, right? Like you're going to start from the ground up. Yeah. You're going to have 0 sales. You're going to have 0 employees. You're going to have 0 basically anything. So one, it gives me time to train people effectively. It gives me time to fix any like errors that are wrong with like the recipes, things like that. Yeah. So that way when we take Juice Ritual to your city, it's going to be a finalized product. So you're not, you know, we're going to pretty much competing with like all these crazy companies that have thousands and millions and hundreds of dollars in the bank account. We don't have that. You know, we're starting from scratch. So to compete with these people, we really have to have like a systematic growth strategy in place.
For any entrepreneurs or creators out there, not just wanting to start a business like this, how would they start by structuring their businesses and systemizing their businesses? Because I've always looked at a business as that's what the business is structure and system. Like a regular job, you go and fulfill a service, but when you're starting a business, you're the one that's having to structure it out and then you fulfill the service.
Right.
So a lot of people struggle with that part.
I think that it's a curse, and also like it's good because at the same time, one, I think that keeps a lot of people from starting business because they're worried about, oh, I don't have this system in place, or I don't have like this strategy and things like that. For me, I will take on any opportunity and I'll figure out the rest later, right? So what I mean by that is, if I'm trying to start a new business or if I have this idea in my head, I'm going to do it. And as we're in the process of doing it and it's opening up, then you start worrying about, okay, I need to set up this. People are coming in and, you know, I don't have my training guide, or I don't have my POS system set up to where it has to, all my money is going to this bank account, or, you know, things like that. Those are things that you can easily fix while the business is already operating.
Yeah.
But I think that people get scared because they hear the word systems, or they read up on these big companies or read all these books, but they never start. So that's the issue. You can read all the books that you want. You can have these great ideas in your head, but at the end of the day, if you're scared to open up a business because you don't have everything, quote unquote, then you're never going to be successful. You know, you open it up and you figure out the rest later. But you have to be that crazy to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
I 100% feel like one of the key things in business is, if you agree with me, being decisive in your decision making and just going for it, because the past is already behind you. You can't live in the past. And you have to really be in this present moment to get to the future and create the future, because the future is just in theory. Like, you can have all these visions,
right,
but you have to, this is like, it's really like, I feel like people complicate it, but all you have is this present moment, this next hour, this next 30 minutes, whatever time frame you want to break it down into.
Yep.
And then that's all you have to focus on, and then that'll get you to the next moment.
Right.
And
I agree with that 100%.
I love that, man. How do you stay creative without chasing trends when making videos or making new drinks?
That's something that I like to. I feel like sometimes as like the boss or like as the owner, sometimes you get into that mindset of like everybody below you is not as smart as you or doesn't have as good of ideas as you.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not that creative. I will tell anybody straight up. I can, if somebody gives me an idea, I will do it the best, but I'm not that creative when it comes to ideas. So I know that I like theirs. So what do? I look to my team. Like anybody that has an idea, I leave the floor open to them and say, hey guys, like, what do you think? Let's come up with a new drink. Let's come up with, something new for the menu. Let's come up with a new TikTok or Instagram idea. And so a lot of the times, bro, a lot of these ideas that we're coming up with are literally my team, but I leave that room open to where they're not afraid to ask questions or give ideas because they think I'm going to think that they're dumb, right? It's like, no. Like, we work as a team. It doesn't matter what your title is, if you're the one that opened the business or not. At the end of the day, like, you're part of the team. And so you should make your team feel like you're just one of them. And so that's what I try to do. You see me here working every single day. I'll mop, I'll clean bathrooms, I'll listen to my team, whatever they need. Like, just what it is.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're open to your team's input. That's what builds the business.
Right.
For any entrepreneur, creator out there starting, what advice would you give them, if any type of life advice, business advice?
My biggest thing would just be, especially if you're young, just, stay on course, don't get distracted. I've been there, done that. I probably would have been ahead, like, by so much, even more than I already am now, if I wouldn't have got distracted, right? And what I mean by that is, we have family here. You have all these distractions around you that are essentially stopping you from, realizing your dreams and your goals. So just stay on course. Doesn't matter if you see your friends out partying or, your family's doing out all this fun stuff and you feel like you're missing out because you're working on yourself. That's part of it. And I promise you that if you stick by that, in 10 or 15 years from now, you're going to see those rewards and you're going to see how much more time you have to now spend with these family and how much of a blessing you're going to be to everybody around you simply because you decided to, pursue your passion and your dreams and your goals.
Definitely.
Yes,
I love
sir.
that, man. That's such a good lesson. Anybody that has motivated you coming up, whether it's people in your life or bigger, more successful business owners, is there anybody that you can name?
Yeah, man. My mentor, man, Deep Olam, he's one of the biggest food and restaurant entrepreneurs here in town. We come from like similar backgrounds. We come from playing soccer. We come from play professional soccer, from, the immigrant background in the sense of, he's Indonesian, I'm Mexican and things like that. So we're a minority, but he's probably the one person that I've always have looked up to. And at the end of the day has made me who I am, man. Without him, I probably would have already failed and gave up hundreds of years ago. The reason why I'm still here and I'm still doing business is essentially because of him. And, on the personal level, my kids, of course, my parents, like my goal in life is to retire my parents and to just retire my family. And if I can build a business to where my family works together and we can build something as a family, that essentially is also like my exterior motivation. People are going to remember you for who you are as a person and what you did for them and for the community more than they're going to remember what you have. So, so that's it for me.
Is there any socials you would like to shout out?
Follow our Instagram, it's Juice Ritual USA. On TikTok, it's Juice Ritual. And if you guys want to follow my personal, I post a lot of motivational stuff on there. Mine is going to be Bry Daily, BRY Daily. And I'm always open to answering questions in the DMs, anything you guys want to talk about, stuff like that. So, yeah.
All right, awesome, man. Y'all can find that below down in the link. And thank you for sitting with me today, Bryan, here at Juice Ritual.
Pleasure, man.
Really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.